Hey guys, Joa Small Gaming here, and today we are going to transform this Sims 4 apartment into something a little bit more fun, a little bit more vibrant. I do have a cold, so excuse that. And yeah, without further ado, let's jump straight into the before house tour. So here is the front door, and as you walk in, you see this kitchen here. And I actually quite like this kitchen. I love the counters, and I don't really like the fridge, and I don't really like the table or the colour scheme. I think it's a little bit dull. This living room is the most dull living room I've ever seen in my life, and I can't wait to change that. It's just very boring. I hate this rug. I do end up keeping some of the items in this build. You'll see what I mean in a moment. But yeah, this is another look at the kitchen. That table completely changes. I completely get rid of that table, and I actually keep within the budget of 7,000 or 8,000 simoleons, and I just used that money, what she had, to recreate this apartment. And I couldn't get rid of that painting or whatever that was on the wall, and that was really frustrating, but you know, it kind of works afterwards. And this is the bathroom, the most depressing bathroom you will ever see in your life. Heading into the bedroom, I love the amount of space that's in this bedroom. I love the light, I love the amount of room we have to work with. I do shift it around a little bit. I think I want this area to be where the bed is, where I'm looking at now, and where the bay window is, I want that to be a study area. So I completely switch up the vibe, completely switch up the room itself. The bed is going here, and the study area is going over here where the bed currently is. So let's have one more look around the apartment before we go into the speed build, and I hope you enjoy. So the first thing that I actually wanted to do was put a white paint all over the house so I can see what I'm doing, put some things in the inventory, things that I wasn't sure that I was going to use. I moved the bed to where I said I was, and I forgot I didn't have BB Dart Move Objects sheet on, just so I could put the bed a little bit closer to the wall so there wasn't such a big gap. And yeah, I had some trouble with that, so I changed the bed colour to something that I wanted the rest of the room to be based around, and I wanted the rest of the room to be based around the colours blue, green or yellow and brown. So they're the kind of colours that I use throughout the entire apartment, and you'll see what I mean in a moment when I get to the living room and bathroom. I actually use the same wood on this floor that I do for the entire house apart from the bathroom. And I was having a little bit of trouble of the colour scheme that I wanted to go with. Even though I wanted to follow what was on the bed, I tried using an orange paint instead of what I use in the moment, which is actually a light yellow. I was just experimenting a little bit just to see what I could do, until you'll see that I actually changed it to yellow, and I changed it to a pastel yellow rather than a very bright colour yellow, just because I wanted it to be quite mellow and then have some fun things, fun accessories in the room, like this rug that I'll show you in a minute. It's a very bright green rug, and I think it works really well with the room. I did change it to this. I tried making it bigger, but it just wasn't working. And yeah, this is the rug I went with. No, wait. This is the rug I went with, I believe. Just very bright, very green, very fun, very hippie kind of vibes. And I put the desk where I wanted to by the window, just so my character can get a nice view of the city while she's doing her work, so she can get inspired and be all creative like she wants to be. And I was going to go for the really expensive computer, but I wanted to remain in the budget, so I just stuck with a very basic, kind of modern, not super old computer. And I actually had a lot of trouble with picking the rugs because I wanted something fun and bright, but at the same time I couldn't really find anything that worked with the rest of the room. Some of these I actually think worked really well, like the yellow one wasn't too bad, but then it didn't go with the chair. I accidentally almost deleted the whole room. But I think I went with a pretty basic rug in the end. Let me know if you want me to do any more of these renovation type videos, because I think they're quite fun because you're given a certain amount of space. It's quite of a challenge to not move the space around too much, like things like plumbing, bathroom. I didn't really change up the bathroom, like the placement of the sinks and stuff, because I thought that was quite unrealistic. I tried to be as realistic as I could, and I tried to keep within the budget as much as I could, and yeah, I was really unhappy. I was really happy with the result. I think it shows Morgan's character really well throughout this build. Morgan is a female artist who wants to make it in the city, be really popular, be really on trend, and I think this really suits her because it's kind of hippie, it's kind of poppy, it's kind of modern at the same time. It's very wacky, very weird, and I love it. I absolutely love it. I was going to use this mirror as a divider, but then thought against it because I thought it was too modern. Like, I want to be modern but not too modern, you know, and I just thought the other side's going to look a little bit ridiculous, so I ended up searching for a divider. I use this in a lot of my builds to divide the room, make it look a little bit more cozier, and I also sometimes use it as a support for bunk beds, which actually works out really well. I kept within the cream sort of colour so it matches the wall behind it, and this just makes the bedroom separate from the study area, so when she's done studying she can go into the bedroom area and she can get all cozy and relaxed and chilled. Even though the whole house is pretty chill, I quite like the vibe of the house. This bedroom I wanted to be separate from the study area so that she didn't feel like she was studying in her bedroom. And also I had a lot of trouble with trying to find the right painting to go behind this wall. I wanted something with a pop of colour, something funky, and I was going to originally mix and match some paintings together, but I ended up going with that painting that I was trying to make smaller before, the turquoisey one, because it goes really well with the bed. So I go back to that one in a minute, and these ones are way too big. I don't know why I tried them ones. I probably forgot how big they were, and yeah, I really like that. It works really, really well. And I wanted to add some fairy lights. I changed up the lighting above the bed quite often, but I did end up going back to the one with the flip-flops on. Let's imagine she used to live in Australia and she brought them lights with her as a piece of her home. I was going to use these lights, but they just didn't work with the curtains. They didn't match as well as the flip-flop lights did. Look at that. I think that's absolutely beautiful. I love that. My voice is so hoarse right now. And the blinds, I ended up going with a basic turquoise colour with a little bit of a ripple effect, a bit of texture. Over by the computer room it looked a little bit dull, so I added in some lights. I switched up quite a bit. I went from using candles to using a lamp to going back to using candles, and I think I actually went with the candle that I picked first, just made it smaller, just so I could have that bohemian sort of hippie vibe even in the study area, so it's still mellow, still chill. Not these ones, they're floor ones, Joe. That's the one I wanted. And of course, to keep with the bohemian sort of hippie effect, I wanted some plants. My sim is actually a vegetarian as well. I thought that would be a cool trait to have, a trait that I haven't tried before. Hold on, I need to cough. Oh my lord. And I went for this plant, very basic, very chill, just green. It's just a green plant, nothing special about it. And I wanted to add some fairy lights, and I thought it'd be a good idea to have some fairy lights on the bookshelf, just to add a bit of yellow to that side of the room because it was very blue. Ah yes, trying to find something that fits on the shelf. I tried quite a few things. I tried this book bag, but it didn't go with the theme, so I went for some perfume because she wants to smell nice, a bit of aromatherapy, that kind of vibe. And I was going to go for some books and some plants, but nothing seemed to work. I'm not sure what it is, but nothing seemed to work the way I wanted to. So I think I just gave up in the end. I tried levitating that plant, but it didn't work, so I just gave up. It wasn't working. I tried finding some quirky little gnomes to put in the room, but they weren't working either. I probably should have just made them smaller, because I thought, oh, they're too big to fit on the shelf. Joe, why don't just make them smaller? Just make them smaller next time. You can do that. I wanted some more clutter on the desk just to make it look a little bit more lived in, a little bit more stylish. And why not some nail varnish? You know, sometimes she'll feel a little bit extra creative, just sit at a computer, paint her toenails, be all hippie, be all cool. You know the kind of vibe I'm on about. And I just added in an easel, and I'm going to put in a guitar. I actually switched these up a little bit because I feel like the easel looked better over there and the guitar looked better where it was over there by the bookshelf. It just looked better. I don't know what else to say about that situation. So let's move on to the living room. This was the thing I really wanted to do. It bugged me how it was so boring, so I just used the same wood that I used in the bedroom, the same wood flooring, made the TV a bit bigger for the same price, you know, a little bit of a hint there. And this wallpaper really stuck out to me. It had a shine to it, it was gold, and I thought it's going to work perfect with the rest of the theme of the house, you know, the greens, the golds, the blues, all of that stuff. and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to carry it on throughout the whole entire space here, across this wall and into the kitchen. I do end up changing that in a moment. I ended up using a brick wall instead of just green wallpaper. And I did say that I liked these counters, but I decided against them in the end and went for a whole different set of counters. A set of counters that was really difficult to pick because nothing seemed to work, at least not with the wallpaper that I chose at the moment. But when I did change the wallpaper, when I changed it to a brick wall, it worked really well what I ended up choosing in the end. I ended up choosing the one with the marble effect on the top. They were a bit more expensive, but it was completely worth it. I was going to go for tile, but all the tile options are so ugly. I don't know what it is, maybe it's just me, but I just feel like they're just so ugly. So I went for a typical brick. I feel like everyone goes for brick when it comes to a house in the city. It's very modern, quite rustic, a little bit wacky, as if it was a warehouse and someone decided to come in and change it up a little bit, make it their own. Kind of what Morgan would do, I imagine. This is something that I feel like she saw as a project and she wanted to work on it. Yeah, she's very creative sim, and I also struggled finding a flooring for the kitchen, so I gave up. I just kept it as the same flooring as the rest of the house. And here I am struggling to find counters again. I did end up going for the ones, I think it was is it cool garden stuff? Not cool kitchen stuff. Perfect patio stuff. The counter that came with that, the one that has the marble effect on it. I love that counter. It's so cool. I love marble. But I was really struggling with the layout of the kitchen as well. It just wasn't working. Didn't know what I wanted to do, so I always struggle with the kitchen. It's the counters, man. I tell you, they need to get more counters because it drives you insane, the lack of counters they have. It's either lack of counters or lack of beds in The Sims. But here I am with the marble kitchen countertops. Very lovely, very nice. And I decided to put the sink by the window instead because I feel like, you know, when you're washing the dishes, you don't want to be looking at a blank wall. You want to look outside, see what people are doing, see the tiny ants of people walking past. And of course I got rid of that table. It was ugly, it was boring, nobody wants that. She wants to be a party animal, she wants to have parties with her friends every now and then, chilling, you know, chilling out, maxing, relaxing, all cool, you know, with a few drinks, a bit of music, maybe some indie records, you know how it is. And I ended up going for these bar stools and changing the one in the middle so it fits the yellow and green, yellow and blue sort of vibe. Now it's time to add a bit of pizzazz to the living room, so I ended up going for a rug to make it look a little bit more cozy, a bit of a plant in the corner, you know. You gotta fill the house with plants, it makes it look more lively, more lived in, more fresh. It's got that nice, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm gonna be honest. This is why I wish I had a computer so I can add custom made content for pictures on the walls, because there's a lot of paintings, but I don't really like many of them. And I was struggling, and I wasn't sure whether I wanted to go for the green kind of curtains or the white curtains, so I ended up going with white and gold just to break it up a little bit so it wasn't green curtains on a green wall. Now I'm just finishing up the kitchen, and I also remembered that I had some spare stuff in the storage, so I wanted to delete that just so I had more money for the rest of the house and the bathroom. I also remembered that she had a coffee machine. I wanted to add more plants everywhere, that's what you want. And I feel like this needed more light, so I remembered this piece that I was going to use in the bedroom, and it fits perfectly on that wall. I think it looks really cute, really rustic, and I don't know, it just really caught my eye, and I think that looks good. I like that. We got to add a classic fruit bowl in there so she can make a painting of a fruit bowl, because everyone paints fruit. Any artist that start out has to paint an apple or a fruit bowl at some point in their lives, or else you're not really a real artist, are you? Really? Are you really? I'm kidding. And in the bathroom, because of the size, it was so small, I didn't want to move any of the plumbing or appliances around because I felt like that wasn't realistic. And then the wall behind the bath in the bathroom was brick wall, similar to the one in the kitchen. I imagine opposite ends of the walls, running from the bathroom through to the living room, and the one near the kitchen was all brick walls, and she just put a piece of wallpaper over the one behind the TV to cover the brick wall. At least that's how I imagine it was, and the rest of the wall is green in the bathroom, matching the rest of the theme, so it works really well. And I wanted to light below the shelf because it looked really dark when I put the shelf in. But nothing seemed to want to go below the shelf, so I had to light the room above the shelf instead. So I used some of the Diwali candles, the little tea candles, and I think that worked really well. It looks really cute, and yeah. So I ended up taking one of the plants that typically go on the floor and are much bigger, made it smaller, levitated it so it fit on the shelf, and ended up putting a mirror behind the shelf as well. I was going to go for this one, but I wanted one that would make the whole room look a lot bigger than it actually is, and I realised, oh my god, the floor, it's so ugly, I need to change that. And yeah, this is the entire apartment, guys. So here we have the kitchen, which I'm obsessed with. I didn't realise that the sides of the counters actually worked really well with the brick wall, like they matched really well. And look at this light on the wallpaper, the way it reflects the light, and it's so golden in a TV. I'm such a fan of that in games when textures work like that. And this, still there, just ignore that, I should probably get something to cover that. And the kitchen and the lights and the plants, it just works so well. And I love them bar stools, especially the one in the middle, the little turquoise one, as if she's just bought it from IKEA and then painted it blue. It just works really well. And here is the bedroom, which, guys, let me just tell you how obsessed I am. Look at that bed. I love it so much. It's almost like a beach theme, an unintentional beach theme. I was going quite bohemian and hippie, but then looking at it again, it's got that beach theme, which I love so much. Oh my god, I'm obsessed. And this bookshelf with the fairy lights, and the little desk over there with the green chair, and the nail varnish and the candle, it just works so well. I'm really excited to play with this apartment and play with my new sim. And here is the bathroom, the last room of the whole lot, and oh, I just love it. I just love it so much. And that shelf! But here are the before and after screenshots. I really hope you enjoyed this build. I did. And if you did, leave a like and subscribe to my channel for more, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys!